See a running back in a quarterback's body, Ryan Fitzpatrick?
I've been really impressed with what he's done. And again, I think it shows the trait of the player and the person of his desire to try to make a play and athletically too. I mean, he's really done a good job of playing off schedule and being able to scramble. And I've been really impressed with that.
Is he just quick? Is he fast? How would you describe his running?
I think a lot of it has to do with he's very instinctive. I think he's got great pocket awareness. He knows exactly the right time to do it, and I think that has a lot to do with it. Obviously, he's probably more physically gifted than people give him credit for, but I think that a lot of it has to do with just his overall awareness and being a very instinctive player at the position.
And you would never create a running play for him, call a running play for him, would you?
At this point, he's doing it himself, so why waste the time, So he's done such a good job of, in that area. And again, I think it's another area that the team really gravitates towards, and it brings energy to the team when he does make a run like that, and it's great to have.
He's 15 yards off the team lead. Did you know that?
I'm aware of the rushing statistics. I am. So,
Obviously, it's not something
yeah,
you prefer.
sure.
Season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you look at the run game at the end of the game, it's the total that you look at, and regardless of who it is, things don't go as planned, which that's the case in a lot of areas offensively and in all phases of the game. So I'm certainly glad that he's capable of doing what he can do to create some yards, the much-needed yards for us, and that's been a positive.
Have you ever had a season where you haven't had a clear-cut number one running back emerge at this late in the season? It's been five different guys over the course of the season.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I have had a season is that all seasons are different. And it just so happens this season that the running game statistically is where it is, and we have to rely on other areas. And there's been other years I've been involved in, obviously not in this role, but in another role as an assistant coach where it's gone the other way. And I just think the most important thing is, once you identify what your strengths and weaknesses are, is that you got to play to them. And I think that's what we try to do on a weekly basis is, identify this is how we're going to try to win the game, which we're going to try to do every week, and this is how we're going to have to do it. And if it's running the ball, it's running the ball, and if it's throwing the ball, then we're going to throw it.
You all are flirting with some pretty troubling records in terms of least rushing yards in franchise history and possibly least rushing yards in modern history
Right.
of the NFL. Is that something that would scare you or concern you, or it's just
don't even. I really. The statistics right now where we are, we really looked at it as we're week to week. We're trying to be better in all areas. Obviously, we know that's an area that we need a lot of improvement in. We're late in the year. I think it's important, again, to identify what we've done well and play to that, and also understand and have some self-awareness of where we are in other areas. But, as far as statistically, it's not something that I even, look at this point in the year as far as, what the result is and where we would end up. I mean, truly, we're day to day, week to week, and just trying to do a good job in our preparation this week versus a team that's pretty talented in the Giants.
We've seen Michael Dieter all season as a starting left guard, and then you guys made the shift this week.
Yeah.
I know it's game plan specific, but what was his week of practice like last week, and what would you hope to see from him this week?
Yeah, I think that at all positions right now, and this is something we stressed yesterday as a group, is that we need consistency out of all positions. And, certainly the offensive line position is one position group within our offense. But there's all positions that need to try to strive for consistency, and that's what we're trying to do. And Michael is certainly somebody that has taken the approach of going to the practice field and trying to get better and improve every day, and he just needs to work to try to be consistent as he can be, just like our other positions right now.
How would you assess Myles Gaskins' development through the season?
Yeah, I think it's the biggest thing is we're giving him the opportunity to play now. So I think that we're gonna know a lot here moving forward. Because he's in the eye of the storm, I would say. He's going to have opportunities out there with where we are right now on our roster at the running back position. And I think certainly right now it's been positive, but I think that, there's several games to play here, and we'll see in the end, and evaluate it in the end how he's done. But he certainly has done some real positive things right now and deserved the opportunity to go out there and do it again.
Travis, what happened in the red zone on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of factors were involved in that. Obviously, that was, something, an area that we'd been strong in, and my credit goes to them. They did a nice job defending us in the red zone, and I think there's other factors involved in that during the game. There's unforeseen circumstances and stuff that come up during the game, whether it's personnel. Obviously, we had some issues with our personnel in the game. I thought the guys did a pretty good job of trying to adjust and play other positions that they had not been used to playing, and that's a credit to them and their preparation, and we were able to move the ball. And in the red zone, combination factors, and my, hat goes off to those guys. They just did a really good job stopping us, and, it wasn't all on the quarterback. It wasn't all in one position. It was just I would say several factors that led us to not being able to put the ball in the end zone.
The numbers entering the game were very encouraging.
Yeah.
Is it kind of remarkable, it is to us, that you can't run the ball very well, but you're very good in the red zone? Usually you have to be able to run the ball well.
Yeah, I think that one of the most important things of red zone success is running the ball. At least that's our philosophy. So we're always going to try to do that, regardless. And that was one of the biggest differences in this game, is that we had some negative runs in the red zone. That really, once you have a negative run, it gets you behind the down and distance, and now you're not in a manageable third down. So when we say a 4-point play, we like those 4-point plays to be third down and 5 or less, and that's what we consider manageable, where we really have a realistic shot at the end zone. We were in third down and too long in the game, and a lot of that has to do with, your lack of success on early downs. So we'll have to do a better job on early downs to put us in a better position to score.
What did you see from the intern in this first NFL start?
Yeah, I thought he did a good job again. I mean, the area that was kind of unforeseen to a lot of people that he did a real good job is the protection end of it. He really stood up in protection physically. He, there's a lot of variables in protection, especially when you look at the third down multiples that we get defensively and some of those things. And I thought he really did a good job in that area of sorting things out. He does an unbelievable job in preparation, and he's a very smart player that knows where to go. And, you have to know where to go, but then you have to stand up physically, and I thought he did a good job of that.
With this receiving core, obviously you don't know about Wilson and Parker, but with a guy like Mark Hollins, how quick can you get somebody up to speed on this offense? I know you played last year. How much does
I think it's our responsibility as coaches to make sure that we give them the right amount of volume in the game plan that they can handle. With the players that we have on our roster right now, I'm confident because of their work ethic and their preparation right now that they can be able to handle a good volume of offense for us to win. So that's been a real positive with the players that haven't been here very long, is that I see a couple guys that really work hard and are able to handle a lot of things offensively. So, but I think it's a balance that's a responsibility of our coaching staff to put them in a position to where we don't overload them, but enough for us to be successful.
How many different ways did you use Isaiah Ford on Sunday? And obviously that probably changed when the guys went down.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy, it's ironic, I spoke of him last week in here and talked of, some of his strengths, and his biggest strength is his ability to play multiple positions and be a very smart player. He's a guy that has done a great job of, despite not being on the active roster, has really prepared like he is, and he's stayed ready at all positions. He's a conceptual learner, so he can line up anywhere, and that happened in the game. I mean, he basically lined up at several different spots in the game. He did a good job of getting some other guys lined up, helping Fitz in the huddle. I thought Fitz in the game did as good of a job as I've ever been around when we had to adjust in the game, having a couple receivers out, of managing the game well, getting guys lined up. There was a lot of communication in the huddle. So he's trying to do his job, but at the same time, he's trying to, get some guys lined up, both alignment, assignment, and those things. And Isaiah was right in the middle of that. He was our second quarterback on the field. Another guy that comes to mind was Alan Hearns. I mean, awesome. Like, this guy played through injury. Not only did he play through injury physically, but he was able to handle some things mentally, line up in some places and execute some things that he didn't do prior to the game. So there was a lot of guys that really, I thought, stepped up, and that's a tribute to them and their preparation is what it is.
what is a conceptual learner?
Yeah, so a conceptual learner means that if I'm looking at the play on the screen when we install it, he's just not looking at his route. He doesn't have blinders on. He sees the big picture of the route, and he looks right and left to understand what everybody has on the pass route, because I've been around some guys that truly just study their route, and then what happens is when they have to adjust and play the position next to them, they don't see it because they didn't learn it from a conceptual standpoint. So that's something that when we came in here as a coaching staff from day one in the spring, we said we want to be conceptual learners. We want to learn the big picture and understand that you might play another position out of necessity in the future. So that definitely showed up in this game. I mean, I can't say enough about the players and our assistant coaches doing just an outstanding job of adjusting on the sidelines. Tribute to them and their efforts during the game. And obviously, we didn't win the game, and that was – we want to win every game and we want to score as many points in the red zone as we can, but there was a lot of things and a lot of positives that got us down to the red zone during the course of the game that, some people probably didn't even say.
Fitz told us on Sunday that he'll even go to Isaiah at times when he has questions.
Yeah.
For a second-year player, how rare is that?
Well, I think it's not, it is rare, and he's got a unique ability to, not only study the game hard, but he's got a good feel for the game and really understands the game of football. So I think there has been a lot of communication between him and Fitz, and he's done a great job in the receiver room of being a leader in that room. And again, despite being not a guy that's out there on game day early in the year, he's been a great leader for us. He studies extra with the guys. And I can't say enough about what he brings from a preparation standpoint to the room and to the offense. You good?
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a great day.